Just gotta do some hard core movement to stay awake. Just Did you end up going to the movies? No, we did not. Mama was out to shop, and we didn't. She said we didn't agree on a time, so she didn't think that we were going to watch them at the time I thought we were going to watch them. So we did not go. I just did my pottery class this morning. Fell asleep at like what 3. Woke up at like 5. No, I woke up at 6. So I'm powering through with 3 hours of sleep right now. That's why Sunday is always a bit... I mean, it's a rare case that I had to wake up early to begin with today. I could have had a chance to sleep until like 10 usually. And then I would have at least, 7 hours of sleep instead of 3. But, yeah, this Sunday was a special occasion. It's not a thing that always happens. The Wrecking Pinball is our next SCP, and it has its separate testing log, which that's exciting. We haven't had one of those in a while. Safe. SCP-1825 is to be contained in a 5x5x3 meter storage room. Testing with SCP-1825 is recommended to take place inside a 10x34x3 meter rectangular room. OMG, we gotta take care of his. Like I said, it's just this one time that happened because like I had a pottery course and I had to wake up early for it. So it happens. Composite reinforced steel. It must be authorized by at least 2 level 3 personnel. SCP-1825 is only allowed to be removed from storage for testing purposes and is not to be activated outside or inside its physical room. See Addendum 1A. SCP-1825 is a blue pinball machine measuring 2x50 x 1.7 meter. wait. 2 meters times 50 centimeters times 1.7 meter. I missed my pinball machine. Got a pinball machine in Switzerland. I miss playing it. SCP-1825 features an empty playing field with 2 flippers on the bottom and a hatch for a ball to enter the top, a scoreboard and a plunger. Currently, the highest score is 30,232,450. I think my highest score is much higher than that. I think my highest score is like 80 million. C test log 1-11, which has been recorded on SCP-1825's scoreboard. When SCP-1825 is activated, all entities in the room are restrained from below their waist by an unseen force, making movement impossible. The subject who activated SCP-1825 is not affected and is able to move freely. When the subject pulls SCP-1825's handle, the hatch will release one metal ball that... The hatch will release one metal ball that, once it hit by a flipper, will create an invisible force in the room whose movements reflect how the ball moves on SCP-1825's playing field. So we become the obstacles in the pinball obstacles. When this force collides with a wall, subject or object in the room, the item hit will be variably damaged from the collision while retaining its position and approximate shape from the time of activation. When the subject is hit, reducted, which results in the subject's upper half disconnecting from the waist, while the lower half remains supported. Subject unaffected from this force are SCP-1825, the subject who pulled the plunger, and any object and persons entering the room after activation. When the ball returns to drain, everything that was affected ceases to be supported by SCP-1825 and collapses as if it was damaged significantly. The weight and density of the force created from SCP-1825 increases with the number of points on the scoreboard, which allows the ball to start at the estimated 1 kilogram per square meter and theoretically increases to 999,999,999 kilograms per cubic meters when the scoreboard has reached its limit. So almost a 1 billion Wait. How many tons is that? If 1,000 is 10 tons. If 1,000 is 1 ton, pardon me. Then 10,000 would be 10 tons. 100,000 would be 100 tons. A million would be 1,000 tons. 10 million would be 10,000 tons, and 100 million would be 100,000 tons. So it is 900,000 tons heavy. If I counted that correctly, almost a million tons heavy. Okay. Due to SCP-1825 providing only one ball and the extensive damage that would ensue, this has yet to be achieved. Recovery notes: SCP-1825 was found after an incident on the 1st, 2000, when an abandoned arcade game factory collapsed. One body was found in the area. A vagrant, presumably seeking shelter inside the factory. Is it vagrant or vagrant? I'm not sure how to say it. How it's said. It is assumed that activated SCP-1825 and died from the debris created from leveling the building. SCP-1825 was found in this wreckage, protected from the debris by several steel girders. Due to the proximity of recovery to SCP-1502, investigation into the potential for a shared origin between the two objects is currently ongoing. And then we have the addendum testing log, which does open a separate site. And now we have a bunch of tests here that we can read through. Test log 1. All testing rooms used with SCP-1825 are to have walls composed of reinforced steel in order to prevent an incident similar to the one prior to containment. Now, test number 1. These D-class. So we have. This is not always how the D-class numbers will go. This one is a D-class number. That's the SCP itself plus -1. So I'm just going to call them D1. February 2nd, 2000, 7 a.m. Place. So that's the time. Now we have test place SCP-1825 inside an empty 10 times 35 times 3 meter room and use SCP-1825 normally. Result: bang could be heard against the walls whenever D1 had the ball hit the side of the playing field. Test was otherwise uneventful. Test number 2. D1, February 2nd, 2007, 14 a.m. SCP-1825 is to be used inside the previous room with a large table placed in the center. When the ball hit the space approximately located to the table on the playing field, SCP-1825 interpreted the table as a bumper. As -1 hit the table, the force increased its density and eventually made a large dent in the walls. Once the table was hit twice, the table was damaged and reaching a score of 10 before collision. Once the ball fell into the drain, the table immediately collapsed. Test number 3. D1 and D2, February 2nd, 2000, 9 a.m. SCP-1825 is used inside the room with an additional D-class inside D2. D2 immediately expressed discomfort once SCP-1825 was activated, reporting an inability to move his legs. After each collision with D2, the score increased by 10 points. When hit for the 4th time, reaching a score of 30 beforehand, D2's torso disconnected from the lower half of his body and landed on the floor while the lower half of his body was supported. D1 immediately let go of SCP-1825 and backed away. When the ball went down the drain, D2's lower half was released and fell to the ground. Yeah, fair enough. Like seeing that happening to somebody, like just their whole entire upper half just falls over while the lower half just stands still. That is pretty traumatizing. That's pretty shocking. How many tests are there? Around 12? Okay. Test 4. D1, February 2nd, 2019, 30 p.m. I'm surprised they got D1 to go in again. Activate SCP-1825 in a rectangular room that measures 10 times 34 times 3 meters with one hole in the floor measuring 2 meters in diameter. D1 is to use SCP-1825 normally. Once the hole was hit, SCP-1825 interpreted as a kick-out hole on the scoreboard gained 50 points. The force was then ejected towards the wall at speed of approximately 72.4 kilometers per hour. That is pretty fast. A large hole in the wall was left after the collision, measuring 2 meters in diameter. The test was terminated immediately afterwards. Test number 5. D1 again. I think it's always D1. And it's always going to be February 2nd. Well, at least February 2nd for a while. So let's just skip that. But the time is different. So 9:40 a.m. However that works. I assume this was supposed to say AM and it just happens to say PM. Yeah. Okay, SCP-1825 is used inside a 11 times 11 times 4 meter room. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force created by SCP-1825. When activated, SCP-1825 emitted a series of noises commonly heard from a standard pinball machine before allowing the ball to be deployed. When hit, the force was distorted to the shape of an oval, which causes the ball inside SCP-1825 to curve away from its typical projections. Test number 60, all the same, 9:50 a.m. SCP-1825 is used inside a 3-walled room with each wall measuring 11 meters and a height of 4 meters. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force. When activated, SCP-1825 emitted a series of noises. See test log 4. Afterwards, D1 was able to use SCP-1825, however the force seemed to be vary in width as it moved across the playing field. Test 7. 10 a.m. SCP-1825 is used inside a cylindrical room with a diameter measuring 11 meters and a height of 4 meters. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force. When activated, SCP-1825 emitted an identical series of noises like in Test 4 and 5, and D1 was able to use SCP-1825. However, the ball's course has become unpredictable and often bounces to hit the glass. Test 8. 10 a.m. Use of SCP-1825 in a spherical room that has a diameter of 12 meters. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force. When activated, SCP-1825 emitted a series of pings before letting D1 pull the plunger. Although louder and longer than those observed in Tests 4, 6, and 7. When the ball hit the flipper, the room immediately broke off from the rest of the building. Damn! And launched itself northwest for approximately 500 meters outside. The room fell 3 stories once brought outside and returned to the building. The ball stopped where it lightly hit the side of the site, leaving minimal damage to the first floor. When inside the room was examined, blood covered approximately 30% of the interior. SCP-1825 was found on its side with the left hind leg bent from D1 colliding with it, and the words tilt displaying across its scoreboard. Aside from this, SCP-1825 was otherwise undamaged. Collateral damage includes 1 empty office, part of a hallway, 1 janitorial closet, and 2 bathrooms, plus 1 D-class personnel. Notes: SCP-1825 needs to be cleaned of blood, have its legs fixed, and moved to its original containment immediately. It appears that when placed inside a spherical room, SCP-1825 cannot identify the room as a playing field, so in an attempt to start the game, SCP-1825 interprets its surrounding into something it can work with. Dr. T. That's why the whole room shut out, because it thought it was the ball. You are the ball. Test number 9. D3-2321. D-class personnel. February 2nd. Yeah, that's still the same. 2004, 2 p.m. Active. Activate SCP-1825 in a rectangular room that measures 10 times 35 times 3 meters. And let 18 D-class personnel in the same room doing yeah, come on. In the same room doing activation. D3 is not simply activate, is to simply activate SCP-1825 and is told to pull the plunger. 1 minute after activation, D22 and D23 are told to go inside and walk around. I'm gonna eat the chocolate afterwards. Maybe that helps a little bit as well with being, awake. D4 through 21 were prevented from moving as expected. When D22 and D23 were told to go inside, they were allowed to move freely. When D22 and D23 were instructed to try and move, SCP-1825, D22 and D23 were successful. Unsuccessful, yeah. Once SCP-1825 was turned off, D22 and D23 were able to lift SCP-1825. Using SCP-1825 as a means of containment for D-class personnel has been considered and denied due to obvious destructive properties SCP-1825 possess. This test would also explain how SCP-1825 remained intact during test number 7. Dr. T2 was test number 7 was okay, gotcha. Test number 11, D3. Now we're in February 3rd, 2000. 11:25 a.m. Keep SCP-1825 in the same rectangular room. Tell D3 to line the entire room. With the given furniture so it blocks the ball from going inside the drain. As soon as D3 hit the ball with the plunger, the ball kept bouncing around inside the ring of furniture. The ball has become trapped in an endless loop and presumably refused to turn off until the ball returned to the drain. And test number 11.1. D3 again, 11:34 a.m. Give D3 a set of tools and tell her to try to remove the glass, not the ball. Once done, D3 is asked to try and touch the furniture from SCP-1825 and put the ball back from the drain. Ball back in the drain. My reading is going downhill already. We're only at 825. D3 successfully removed the glass and confirmed that she could move the furniture, although no further damage was taken from this action. When the ball was lifted up, the force burst through the ceiling. D3 panicked and shoved the ball into the drain, which created a large hole in the area. When the game was ended, the score was 30,232,450. And has been recorded as the highest score by SCP-1825. It was also explained that the ball is what causes damage, not the machine. This will open up a possibility for military use, but since it's the only one, especially we didn't use SCP-1825 in a situation where it could be damaged further. Dr. T. And last test. D3, still February 3rd, at 1:44 p.m. SCP-1825 is to be outside with a truck placed 25 meters in front of it. D3 is asked to take the ball out before hitting it with the flipper. A feeling around an object shaped like a truck in SCP-1825's playing field. If D3 finds it, he's then asked to hit it with the ball. Test aborted. Since there's a high probability that SCP-1825 would not comprehend an outside playing field and turn redacted into the pinball, I stopped the test and recommended that we cease further testing with SCP-1825 and have it remain in storage unit until further notice. Addendum A. Dr. T. Statement have been noted. Tests held inside physical room or outside involving SCP-1825 will be denied. 057. Ow. There we go. That was the Wrecking Pinball instead of the Wrecking Ball, which is probably where the title comes from to begin with. Because it wrecks shit inside the room. You could use that to refurnish. Destroy everything inside the room and then refurnish, renovate, all that good stuff. Oh my god, this thing melted a little bit. Not sure if it melted because I held it in my hand, or it melted because the room temperature is a bit too warm for it.